Hey, what's happening? Jeff Pish here. We are doing the beat of the week. Today, we're checking out a groove that I worked out that I play live with a band called The Sermon. This is for a Lonnie Smith tune called Play It Back. Super cool tune. Check out the original. It's super dope. I took a pretty decent shift for how I was feeling on this tune as to what my drum part that I came up with actually is. Um, took a little bit more of a New Orleans approach to it. Last year, I took a trip down there and just heard like unbelievable drummers and musicians, and just every instrumentalist I heard and singer was just phenomenal. And the biggest thing I took back from there was the space that they put between notes. And I'm not talking about tempos. It was openness of feel. So it's just a different thing, and everybody's playing like that down there, just really open, really wide notes, still in time, but just lots of space there in between notes. Even when you're playing fast notes, there's still air and feel to it. So I took this Lonnie Smith tune and heard the band kind of playing it, and this is kind of what I came up with. We'll start slow, and we're gonna check out the bass drum first. So if you're looking on the page, there's lots of E's and U's. So let's check it out. Just the bass drum. I'm going to keep quarter notes on the hi-hat just for reference so you can see where all these notes sit. So let's check it out. All right, so it's nothing crazy, but finding that accuracy is important. It's in understanding not to rush. It's something that I work on with, a pattern, anything that's similar to this kind of vibe with lots of E's and U's and that kind of offbeat type of feel is I'll play all the 16ths on the snare drum and then play that bass drum part and get a feel for what that air really is. So here's an example of that. So there's a good way to work on that and finding that accuracy and finding that space in between those notes, especially the E count of the first bar. It tends to get closed down and then it just pushes the feel out, and you want to stay away from that. Next, let's check out the hi-hat, and it's actually hi-hat and floor tom part. It's an upbeat feel. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's where our feel comes from, is all those upbeats. Details in the first bar, there's 2 open hi-hats, the and of 1, and that I consider part of the groove. So I just want that just a subtle texture. 1 and then on the and of 4 of the first measure is a little more boisterous. Like I said before, the whole band's landing on the and of 4 count in this whole thing. So we would have landed on that and of 4 with a little fervor as well. So we detail it like this. So there's the hi-hat floor tom. So you can kind of hear it's just moving along. This is down tempo as well, so it's not gonna feel quite as good. But you get this sense, and you're starting to learn that coordination and learn that detail of those volumes on the hi-hat and getting those correct to, again, it's all about enhancing this feel that we get going. Now, snare drum part. So the snare drum is our melodic voice in this. So if we just kind of drill down into just the drums, the snare drum is providing a melody in here. So that's where a lot of the flavor of this whole beat comes from. I mean, it's not that interesting so far. It's cool, but it's not, not a whole lot going up. Now, when we get the snare drum and the way it's integrated between the bass drum parts and with the hi-hat is what gives it this funky New Orleans, groovy, musical thing happening to help enhance what the band's got going on. So I don't really, I think of it as its own part, but from a coordination standpoint, I think of it as the hands are together, just on different sound sources. I'm going to play just the hands together on this. So you can hear I'm still trying to maintain those correct details in the hi-hat part. And now we're getting it. Boom. And now we're getting these hills and valleys, these cool textures, controlling the ghost notes. The toughest one to play is the one right after an accent. You want to keep relaxed. You don't want to jam your hand and stick into the drum because it's still rebounding. And it's a control thing. It's a little bit of pressure. The left hand, it's all about the thumb and connection here. It's just a little bit of pressure to keep that rebound under control down at the low level so you can get those ghosties in there. So now, let's put it all together. I don't want to get into too much technique. Let's put it all together. So now, we find our volume levels, and here's our 2-bar groove. Down tempo. We're still down tempo here at 84. And there it is. That's the whole thing. That's the whole phrase, the structure of the phrase. Now, I do a lot of what I do, especially live, is improvisational. So what I do is, that's my bare bones. And then once we get into the tune, I'll kind of hear little things and play off of and add different textures within the groove to, again, help enhance and really hang on to what the rest of the band is doing. So let's go ahead and first bump the tempo up. So we're going to go up to, let's call it 96. And now we can vibe it in there at a tempo that I feel like it feels pretty good. It sits pretty nice right about here. So let's check it out. And there it is, this week's Beat of the Week. Check it out. give you the notation as usual down below, and see what you can work out with it. And take it, once you have that nice feel, improvise with it. You know, try different things, get off the toms, you know, accent off a cymbal or a bell even, and just come up with whatever creative things come out while you're sitting in that groove. And as always, please do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and that would be fantastic. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and we shall catch you on the next one.